And we start with politics. Saturday's parliamentary primaries of the NDC is set to go ahead, after all, in the Ketu South constituency, despite a pending lawsuit.
A disqualified aspirant, Jim Morty, is seeking an injunction on the governing party's primaries in the constituency because he says he was wrongfully disqualified. Addressing a press briefing here in Accra on Thursday, however, General Secretary of the NDC, Johnson Asiru Nketia, said barring any last-minute changes, the polls will go ahead in the area.
In two constituencies, one in Volta region, that is Kwanta South, and the other one in Chanapaga, are the constituencies where the parliamentary elections and I guess the presidential elections will not be conducted. It has been deferred and it will be conducted later. Having said this, we are in a democracy, and there is time between now and Saturday. So the party is ready to abide by any court decisions or court restraining orders for any aspect of the elections. But as we sit here, we know that we are not holding the elections in Kwanta South, and then we are not holding elections in China Paga. There are two cases that are known to us that are being handled in court. Yesterday, we had information that one has been disposed of, paving the way for the elections, the parliamentary elections to take place. The other one is in court, and we are still dealing with it with our lawyers. We have information about some process that has been filed in Ketu South. So the process is with our lawyers. They will advise us about the way forward, and we will comply. The Electoral Commission has conducted briefing of their election and collation officers. And we have agreed on the setup for the collation of the presidential elections results of the Electoral Commission. And we have agreed on the term, minimum term within which the results of the elections must all be known, declared and known to the.
And the Cape Coast South constituency will be one key constituency to keep an eye on this very weekend.
Because incumbent MP for the area and former Deputy Finance Minister, Kweku Ricketts-Hagan, appears to be under some kind of pressure. A banker and new entrant to the race, Thomas Skillful Emisa, is promising to make Mr. Ricketts-Hagan a one-term MP. Here's Richard Kwejonyako, who came through with his report saying he's been speaking to the two main contenders ahead of tomorrow's keenly anticipated contest.
Eboba Tenodro used to be the MP for Cape Coast until the constituency was divided into two, the Cape Coast North and South. Kweku Ricketts-Hagan became the first MP for Cape Coast South and is seeking to be re-elected. He has been echoing his track record, which he claims should easily earn him the seat.
I have been instrumental in basically lobbying for projects to be done here in Cape Coast, such as roads and many other things that obviously government do. I was instrumental in bringing 25 kilometers of roads here in Cape Coast, new roads to be done, and they are being done, and also roads that are to be, refurbished, if you want to put it that way. There's going to be asphalt in the town roads, which will start very soon. I understand the contractor has taken his mobilization and everything. And I have no doubt in my mind that the wider Cape Coast will give me the mandate.
Thomas Skillful Emisa, who works with the Bank of Ghana, says the deputy minister should be denied his second attempt because his presence as an MP has not translated into any meaningful development for the people of Cape Coast.
Education is a problem to our people, job, and how to harness our health tourism potential. That's what I mean, and I believe I stand in a better way to deliver the best for my people. It's not difficult when you know the message you are putting across, and it's a relationship between you and the grassroots. And I believe I have an excellent relationship with the delegates.
Kwekurekit Hagan, the incumbent, has recently bought a school bus that conveys school children to school and has instituted what he calls a pension scheme for the fisher folk in the constituency. But Thomas Kelfo Emisa, the banker, says it is his presence in the race that has compelled the incumbent to spend some cash.
In our normal price, we could have said peer pressure. If I'm forcing him to spend, it means I'm doing a good job, because there's a person who has been away, has lost touch with the grassroots. So if now what the people need and what they were expecting from him, I'm forcing him to do it, then we thank God.
But the Deputy Trade Minister says proper spending of cash will be seen if he succeeds in winning the primaries.
If he's forcing me to spend to do good things, then that is good. If that is what he thinks. But look, when I go to contest, I don't think about my opponent. My opponent never mattered to me. Mine is to do what I set my eyes to do. I focus on the things I want to do.
Well, just opposite that very constituency is Cape Coast North as well. And we know that there are a lot of contestants in that very race, including one Charles Walker. And we wish
You're
all
related
of you,
to him?
Not related to him. I wish all of you well tomorrow as well.
But you mentioned Charles Walker.
Yeah, because I know him.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, let's look at this. Estimated expenditure for the 2016 elections and investment in the power sector are the two main threats to the economic stability attained over the last few years.
That is according to ratings agency Moody's in its report on the 2016 budget. The prediction backs historical fears that Ghana's election cycle could derail progress made in stabilizing the economy.
In a statement released Thursday, the agency is predicting that partly on the basis of these fears, government's target of reducing the deficit from 7.3% in 2015 to 5.3% will even not be met. Moody's, which has already rated Ghana's credit worthiness as extremely bad to B3 negative, says government is expected to spend more than 30% of revenues in 2015 on servicing debts, and this is a major constraint on Ghana's credit profile. But the report expressed satisfaction that government has exceeded its revenue generation targets in 2015. It is also hopeful that the expected oil revenue from commercial production in the 10 fields will boost economic growth in 2016. According to the statement, Ghana's prudent fiscal and monetary policy stance is credit positive. Last Friday, Ghana's finance minister said TECPE presented the 2016 budget, which aims to reduce the fiscal deficit to 5.3% of GDP in 2016 from the targeted 5.3% in 2015 and the 10.2% deficit in 2014. Then, on Monday, the central bank further tightened monetary policy to suppress inflation and anchor inflation expectations. Although downside risks persist, proactive policy adjustments should help to preserve macroeconomic stability and support sovereign credit quality, a credit positive. The comparison of fiscal results over the first 9 months of the year with the budget targets and with 2014 budget execution data over the same period shows outperformance, in particular the revenue side. Revenues and grants to GDP were 17.0% of GDP as of September 2015 as compared to the 16.3% target in the revised budget, and in contrast to 15.6% over the same period last year. Total expenditures and arrears clearance at 22.1% of GDP was broadly in line with the target and with last year's performance, whereas the fiscal deficit registered 5.1% of GDP over the first 9 months this year against a deficit target of 5.7% of GDP and 6.4% of GDP deficit recorded over the same period last year. The report also said election-related expenditures in 2016 are also a risk because they have contributed to past expenditure overruns.
And looking at the current market conditions, there could be implications that the interest rate hike in December could be very much possible.
Well, that's the signal coming from the U.S. Federal Reserve. The Central Bank of the USA over the past 3 months has failed to increase interest rate due to what it describes as unfavorable market conditions. But as George Rafi reports, the hike could come with some serious implications for our economy.
U.S. has seen its lending rates locked at zero since the financial crisis that hit that country. But the question is, should Ghanaians be worried at all by these developments in the U.S. market? Well, let me share some insights with you. Majority of the Ghana cedi and dollar-denominated bonds issued by government are taken up by foreign investors. This is mainly due to the high interest that they are being offered. Some analysts have maintained that most of these investors are lending to government just because of the zero interest being offered to them in the U.S. market. Therefore, if the rates start going up in the U.S., most of these investors might return to that market. This development might lead to government cost of borrowing hitting the roof if it still wants to compete with the U.S. government to attract these funds from investors. Again, there are plans to issue another Eurobond before the end of this year and even in 2016. Therefore, the possible rate hike might also not be good for government. But economist Doug McIntyre says the impact might not be that bad for the government of Ghana and even businesses in the country.
If you look at interest rates and the effect of the dollar, at some point the stuff really starts to pile up and it's a problem. But I think for a typical business, a business that has good credit rating, and for most individuals, it's not something that's going to be felt right away.
Government is expected to pay about $107 million every year as interest on the recent Eurobond issued. It has also set aside about 10 billion Ghana cedis to settle interest on loans taken recently.
Our business news commentary on the subject of interest rate hikes in the United States and its implications on Ghana. Energy expert and former Chief Executive of the Volta River Authority, Dr. Charles Rekubrobe, is advising government against plans to use coal for electricity generation.
The Volta River Authority and the Power Ministry have signed a memorandum of understanding with Chinese firm Shenzhen Energy to construct a 1,000 megawatt coal-powered plant to augment the country's energy needs. But Dr. Rekubrobe says the environmental pollution caused by the coal means Ghana could be flouting major protocols on climate change if it goes ahead to sign onto this project.
For the first time, developing countries are required also to make commitments, and the Kyoto developing countries were exempt. So it's important for us that everything we do must be set in the context of how do we meet our obligations under the climate change. Why aren't we placing generation from thermal plants and cleaner gas ahead of going to opt for a 1,000 megawatt coal-powered production? That, in a sense, is my worry. You know, you have got excess gas which can probably meet this country's capacity for the next 10 to 15, 20 years. And yet we're in a hurry to sign a contract to generate 1,000 megawatts of coal. A coal is a commodity we don't even have in this country.
So if we're to go coal, where will we get the coal from?
That's exactly the question that...
Some have said South Africa is an option.
Pardon?
Some have said we can get some from...
It does not matter. I don't even want to think about it. We've got enough gas to produce clean... You know, the irony of what we are doing is that our former President Kufuor is the UN ambassador for climate change, for Christ's sake. He is going around the world on behalf of the UN, telling everybody why they should have policies that are more climate friendly and climate responsible. I don't even want to get into where we'll get the coal from. I'm saying that it is not time to even think of it. I think it's premature. It cannot be justified. You cannot be promoting carbon credits and at the same time contributing to huge emissions of carbon. You know, there may be clean coal technology, but the cost of achieving clean coal is probably more expensive than generating with thermal, with gas.
Look, we've seen the Power Minister mention a number of things. He promised that by the end of this year, load shedding will end. You can tell that he's exploring virtually every option available.
Yeah, but that will not end the doomsday at the end of this year. We are only at the memorandum of understanding stage. So if you are talking coal as a solution, as your savior, look 10 years down the line. There must be some other reason why people are in a rush to do coal.
Right, this is going on. You've been in this business for a long time. What do you think it's down to?
Well, it's simply because somebody has got something to sell, and maybe they are promising the earth, and people feel they should sign up to it. Because for me, it does not make any technical or commercial sense. You know, why would you think the World Bank will come and support us to develop and develop more gas? Why would we sit here in a position saying we are about to generate so much gas? The most sensible thing to do is to think how long, and how much generation can we develop from the current resources and the resources that are incoming.
Police in the Eastern region have arrested 15 suspected criminals, all between the ages of 18 and 38, for allegedly selling and smoking substances suspected to be Indian hemp.
The suspects were arrested in different locations during a 3-hour special operation carried out by the police in the Koforidua municipality. Haruna Yusuf Bumpuni filed the following report.
Some of the areas the police arrested the suspects from include Sushen, Oyoko, Mamba, Gas Zongo, Agatha, and Koforidua Morovia, among others. The police confiscated 1 parcel of Indian hemp, 2 machetes, 1 knife, 1 laptop, and an Opel Astra. Briefing the media after the operation, the public relations officer of the Eastern Regional Police Command, ASP Anketia Yabua, explained that the suspects will be thoroughly screened and those found culpable will be dealt with according to law.
The soup is not an day on that. Despite that, it is in conjunction with the Father Christmas 2015. It will be carried on until we raid all of the municipalities and the suburbs of such place. We also like to appeal to the community members to hint us of these things of drug laws and all associated criminals.
And that'll be it for the news. Again, we have to tell you that this is the platform to be. We have the number linked to our WhatsApp page, and the number is 0560-800,000. Many of you already sending a lot more messages. Let me read a couple of them.
Go down.
Those that favor me.
Oh, really?
All of them have been favoring Mama.
Are you going to be editing as you read?
Yes, favoring Mama V.
Okay, not good.
Okay, I love this one. Good morning, family. This one from Maya Angelo. If you don't like something, change it. I agree with you. And if you can't change it, change your attitude. Just don't complain. And it's from Ahomka, and it is his inspiration for the morning. Ahomka inspiration, we love that.
Yeah. Okay, one more, and then we'll bring you what the newspapers are reporting today. Alhaji is taking us into, serious politics. This one says, the noise of the sea will never disturb the fishes from sleeping. Therefore, don't let anything disturb you. Stay focused and determined to be on track on whatever you are pursuing in life. DJ Jester of Royals FM in Wenchi sending us that message. More of your messages. I said the last one, but maybe one more. Okay. This one says, good morning, Mama V and Roland. Every passing second with you both is an impalpable blessing. Your intonation and stresses is amazing. Your parent is awesome. Scholastic from Tiobodom, saying a happy birthday to Lodina, who turned 3 years today. So little sweet Lodina, happy birthday to you. It's Children's Day, so it's your day as well. Stay with us. We'll come back and tell you what the newspapers are reporting. And I've got 3. Okay, we're going to go to Kenya, we'll go to the UK, and then we will talk some Adele on the show.
Oh my, she's always surfing the web. Oh my, but we're here to surf a lot more. The news portal, myjoyline.com, and others. To stay on.